Hello, gamers, and welcome to Budget Arcade, a free-to-play gaming podcast to help you navigate through the growing realm of free-to-play games. I'm Scott.
I'm Jeff.
I'm Cody.
I'm Elliot.
And welcome to episode number 23. To recap, we play a free-to-play game for a week, and then we review it. This week, we actually did not play a game. We have a special guest here. It is the gentleman who does our music, Mr. Grant Henry, or a.k.a. Stemage.
Hey, man. Hey, guys. How's it going?
Hey.
Welcome to the podcast,
Thanks for
Grant.
having me. I appreciate it. Glad to be here.
Hey, thanks for coming, man.
We'll see if you feel the same way when it's over. But
Yeah, we're like 2 minutes in. How do you feel now?
You know what? If this doesn't work out, I'll just come back for 24 and we'll do a do-over. You know?
Nice.
we'll just have to have you review
nice.
a game.
Sure. Why not? I play games sometimes, too. So, hey, why not?
Very nice. All right, so let's start this off. Jeff, you got a question?
Yeah, wow, I didn't expect to go first. I'm not ready. Go, Scott, go.
Okay, fine. Grant, at what point did you realize that you could turn your passion for music into a career?
Oh, man. I'm still not sure I can. Is that a good answer? No, I don't. This is like a give it the good-hearted go moment, I think, for me in my career. I worked in computers and e-commerce stuff for a long time, and then got encouragement to give this thing a shot full time, doing music for people and also doing some engineering work, helping other people's music sound good, and just attempt to see if I can fill my schedule out with that. So I've been going at it full time for about a year and a half, 2 years, and it's going okay. I was getting little gigs before, doing stuff on the side, and then I just figured I might as well go all in. And if it doesn't work out, that's fine. I'll get another job and keep the music on the side. But at the moment, I've got my schedule pretty full, so at least for right now. So yeah.
Very good. So why don't you recap for our listeners a little bit of your background?
Sure. I mean, I've been band hopping forever. I got people started to pay a bit more of attention to the music I was making when I started this project called Metroid Metal, where I was a big fan of the mini bosses and the Neskimos and the Advantage and the 1-Ups, and decided to try and give the prog rock thing a try with Metroid. So I put up my first track in 2003, and then made a band of that project later on, and we're still playing on occasion. And then, since then, it's been doing a lot of video game arrangements, doing a lot of my own music, some just original stuff for fun, some stuff for video games. More recently, I'm honored to become the guitar player for the Cartoon Network show Steven Universe. So that's been really cool. That's been for the last 6 years or so. So a lot of different things, and then mixing people's records and stuff. I love having guests play with me and being guests on other people's projects. So I'm just sort of everywhere I can be. If there's time to do it, I'm going to try to do it. But I guess is that a good enough summary? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Jeff, what's your question?
Yeah, so you're doing Steven Universe, you got Metroid Metal. What would be like the pie in the sky dream project for you?
Oh man, that's a really good question. I don't know, like for Steven Universe, it's really cool because I can be part of this musical experience with other people, right? I'm contributing guitar and a little bit of arranging, but I'm not doing it all. And there's something really cool about that, as opposed to making something from scratch myself. So I'm trying to think of what like the big pie in the sky thing would be. But I don't know. Maybe making music for a Metroid game. How about that? That might be
Hey, I heard there's a new one coming out.
That's a good answer. Well, so I do another podcast that does movies. Is there a movie score or something like that you would think that your music would be tailored perfect for?
Oh, geez, gosh, I love movies so much.
Well, there's this other podcast I know about.
God.
It's fantastic. It's got these amazing
It's got
guys.
one amazing guy and one okay dude.
It's the budget movie theater. No, what is it called? I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
no, that's it. Budget
No,
movie theater.
it's
I'm
mine.
gonna be trademarking that right now. Budget movie theater.
We're having a shame.
No, I do another podcast with my friend Jason that we do movies and exchange movie reviews and stuff like that. But so give me a movie that fits your style that you would like to have your music
You know,
behind.
I really like. I'm a rock guy. I'm a rock metal dude, but I've been so into the kind of like Vangelis style stuff from Blade Runner, the kind of big sort of space soundscape stuff.
Do you like the new Blade Runner?
Yeah, totally, and the old too. I feel like there's a lot of I've been experimenting a lot with synths and pads and more analog sounding stuff just because of some projects I've had to work on the last year or so. And I would love to be able to do something, to be able to score something, even if it's something short, with that style. I think would be a lot of fun.
I've got it. You need to apply to be doing the music for the new Bill.
Dude, hey, if you're listening, call me up.
Yeah,
I'm so curious. I'm like, hey, I could do some mealy stuff, for those moments, and then, hey, maybe they go to space. Who knows what's going to happen? I've only seen pictures. I haven't been paying a lot of attention to what's actually happening with that film, other than a couple snapshots. So
I think that's all that's been released.
Okay, gotcha. Crazy.
So this is a bad time to say that I've never seen.
Not been a whole lot.
Oh my god.
No, we know you don't watch movies.
We know you don't watch movies.
And on that note, Cody, do you have a question?
Yeah, so I was, I looked at your discography, or however you pronounce it, and I saw that you were working on the new Bubsy game.
Yes.
Why'd you laugh when he said that?
Because the old Bubsy games are infamous for being just absolutely terrible.
Sure.
And there's been a lot of hype around this one. Some fandom's been going off for the new Bubsy, hoping that they fixed all the problems with it. How's it been, working for a game series that's been so infamous in the past?
Dude, people love. I'm trying to think of it, maybe like Nickelback. I'm trying to think of other examples of things that people just they sort of hate for fun.
Hey, did you hear that Imagine Dragons is the new Nickelback?
Is that okay? So is that
the dude from Slayer said that?
Is it super fun to hate Imagine Dragons now? Is that kind of?
I think it is. I think it's supposed to be.
I mean, Bubsy games are a lot of them have been. Most of them have been pretty terrible. But there's sort of this love for hating Bubsy. And I was kind of, when this thing first came up, and because I did music for this company, Choice Provisions, they made the Bit Trip games and some other stuff. I got to work on some things for them, and this Bubsy opportunity came around, and they asked me, and I'm like, it's too weird to not do. You know what I mean? Part of me was thinking, is this a bad wave to ride? Like, is it going to be? I was expecting, when the game comes out, someone would just go, just listen to this trash music just because it's in the Bubsy game, without even having really listened to it. Mm-hmm. I'm just kind of ready for everything, wondering if it's a bad career move to do something like that. But it actually ended up being really fun. The game is fun. It's the best Bubsy game. That's not saying a lot, right? But if I'm gonna be on one, if I'm gonna be on one, at least I'm on that one, right? And so it was cool. I got to write this weird boppy sort of PlayStation era music, and Bubsy didn't ever really had a theme song. So I got to write a little motif for him and carry it through the soundtrack, and then there were some people that trashed the game because it's not particularly difficult. It's kind of a game for kids, and but they got some decent reviews and people really like the music. And I mean, I had a guy in Brazil send me his physical copy of the game, and he didn't know this, but the most of the team was in town, so I got them all to sign it, and we mailed it back. It ended up being kind of awesome. It's just kind of weird to be a part of a franchise that is known for being the butt of every video game joke. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Oh, absolutely.
So it could have gone. I can say it could have gone way worse. It actually ended up being a lot of fun. It's kind of neat to have that on my. as a badge, and I got to experiment with a lot of weird music stuff in the process. But I was a little nervous for a while. I'm like, was this the best idea? But it worked out.
Yeah,
It worked out.
well, good to end.
Well, guys like Peter Jackson and Sam Raimi going back to movies started out making schlocky horror, so get in where you can.
Yeah, they did start. Some people might enjoy those earlier movies even more than the more recent movies, like
exactly.
me. But no, yeah.
Before you sell out, this is the time to get on board with Stemage. Before he sells out and makes millions and billions of dollars.
Oh yeah,
now's the time to get
absolutely.
on board.
Imagine Stemage. The first record's coming out. I gotta buy a lot of way more hair product and forget the little people or whatever. No, I'm just gonna keep.
Exactly.
I don't know. I don't know if my music is appropriate for the airwaves, but I'm gonna keep sticking it wherever I can. Right.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
Phrasing. Rewind.
Phrasing.
That was Genghis Khan's motto.
Yeah. I got that
Cody,
joke.
was
I
this
got
your
that joke.
two-parter question or no?
That's a history joke.
Oh man, he answered. He actually did play the game when it came out because he said it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was.
But yeah,
I had to play the game sort of during the process. The game's kind of a musical game. It's all based on these tempos, and I had to play it to make it kind of work. Make sure that the music would fit right, and it was neat. The music of the game is very mechanical in a way, and so we had to make sure it all fit. So I definitely had my mitts in there for a while, more later on than early on. But yeah, I had to play it a bit. I had to listen to my own music way too much.
Well, was it kind of hard to match that style, like trying to match it up with the game? How difficult was that?
Not too bad. I like really kind of strange, cartoony music anyway. So I just sort of and I wrote a lot of the soundtrack, even though there's barely any guitar in it. I wrote it all on guitar. I run some software that can listen to my guitar notes and turn it into MIDI data to play other instruments with. So I could kind of make up little tunes in my head and on the guitar, and then build all the other instruments around it and try to come up with something silly, something groovy and silly is what I went for. And I didn't know where it was going to end up exactly, but I think it turned out okay. So took some work.
Well, cool deal.
Very nice. Elliot.
So take us through like an example of like what it's like to write music for like a show or a game. Do they like give you the show and be like, oh, put music to it, or like how's that go? How's that happen?
Yeah, so they're very different, the TV and the game stuff. So with the game stuff, if music is given any amount of priority, then you try to start a little earlier, and they'll at least give you artwork and sort of as much of a design brief as possible to give you an idea about what things should feel like, what it's going to look like, try to describe and help you visualize the game in the best way possible, so you have something to go off of. And then you're just sort of writing little snippets of music to see what fits. I think they're probably all handled a bit differently, but that's sort of how it's worked with me so far. And then and you do that sort of over time. You can kind of tackle what you want when you need it, when it needs to get addressed. With TV, it is, for me, it would be, I would get an email on a Thursday night. I'd get warned about what I might see, but I would get an email on a Thursday or Friday morning saying, hey, are you available to do guitar? Because we need guitar by Sunday night for something. Because this is television. This is how TV works. It's just this kind of, animation is locked because it's already done, but you score it last because you have to have the timing right for everything. And so that's normally how it would work. If there's a song, in the case of Steven Universe, every show has a song that goes with it that's titled the name of the episode normally. So those get written ahead of time. So it wouldn't be nearly as breakneck. They'd say, hey, over the next 4 weeks or so, we'd like you to contribute to something or help come up with some ideas or work with that. But as far as the score of the show, the stuff that happens in between songs, it really is a week-to-week thing. And a lot of times it happens over the weekend.
Which one do you like to do more?
I feel like there's something kind of cool as long as you can meet them. There's something kind of I kind of feed off deadlines sometimes. You know, when you know you have a target and it's not just a sky's the limit situation, then it's easier to just kind of focus and knock something out. And also if I'm just contributing to something that's already there, then it's already there. I just do what I can do. And I'm not having to make something from scratch. So it's exciting. I think the TV thing is exciting, but it's definitely that's not your normal kind of workday schedule. I don't think any TV works like that. It's crazy. TV people are crazy. I don't know how it gets done, honestly. But it's cool.
That's cool.
All right, Jeff, you got another question?
Not really. You want to come back to me? I was listening.
So, Elliot kind of took my question there. Let's see. I was going to ask, when composing music for a specific project, do you take into account the characters that you're writing the music for? But you kind of covered that in the last question.
Well, I will say that there was a game, like in the Bubsy game, there are 4 distinct characters, and depending on the character you play, the music changes, but the song is the same base song, but the instruments on top will change. So Bubsy ended up with sort of like some xylophone-ish, weird synthy bell kind of instruments and stuff, something like Banjo-Kazooish maybe. And then this character named Virgil, who's a vole with like a VR helmet on, he had like a weird synthy kind of digital lead stuff. And then you have this alien that floats around in a spaceship, and she has kind of this do you guys know what a theremin is? It's
yes.
like a little box with a wire that comes out the top, and you move your hand.
I have seen that.
Yeah, you move your hand. People use it to make ghost noises and stuff. So that's and you hear that in old sci-fi soundtracks for Aliens. So I use that for the UFO characters instrument. So those are the small examples of the kinds of times I've had to assign some instruments to characters and stuff. It hasn't happened as much for the show or other games, but that was kind of a fun thing to figure out.
I got one now. I'm ready.
He's ready.
Good for
He's
you.
ready. I'm not. Hold on.
All right. So
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I'm waiting.
All right, we're good.
And go. So take me through like your musical journey as far as your fandom. Like, so just like kind of tell you what I went through just on a brief so you can understand what I mean. Like the first thing I used to listen to was Weird Al Yankovic. And then like I started getting into a little more metal as I got into my early teens, and then it was hip hop in the 20s. Where was kind of like the bands and the genres and how you grew from what you started listening to today?
It's a really good question. So like which era Weird Al are we talking? Are we talking like
yeah, that's a good question.
The first Weird Al album I had was Polka Party,
Party.
which was his third album, I believe.
Yep. Good stuff. Cool. Just curious. I don't know when people show up to Weird Al, but that was about mine as well. So,
yeah. So I grew up in a house where my mom only had like Christian music around, and so the only thing mainstream I could listen to was Weird Al, and so that was like my gateway into like mainstream music.
That's a really good thing to allow your kid to enjoy. Like that's, it's super clean. He's not a jerk. Oh man, that's interesting.
Yeah, and he hasn't been canceled or done anything terrible. He just seems like the real deal.
I was also a Weird Al junkie. I like going. I had on my little Fisher-Price record player, I had a 45 of "Owner of a Lonely Heart" by Yes, and a 45 of "I Love Rock and Roll" by Joan Jett. And I had this Sesame Street album that I ruined because I used to play it. It was a terrible Fisher-Price record player with a really abrasive needle, and it ruined all my records. And I had, I had a couple other ones I can't remember. That was like before I really knew what was going on with music. And then I was kind of a rock guy. I loved like the hair bands, I loved Van Halen and Rat and Motley Crue and stuff like that. I was a big hair because I love the guitar stuff. The guitar stuff just sounded so cool. All the guitar solos and everything. And I had no idea what they were singing about. It's probably a good thing that I didn't, and no one else was paying attention. But yes, that, and then that slid into what, like early '90s stuff. I guess the grunge hit, and I was,
yeah.
So I learned to play guitar from kind of the early Guns N' Roses stuff. I learned how to play Paradise City and some Warrant songs or something. Those were my first guitar chords. And then I kind of stopped playing guitar because nobody was playing. Everybody was playing outside and playing video games. So I stopped playing guitar. And then in late middle school, Stone Temple Pilots came around, Pearl Jam came around, and then I ended up picking the guitar back up. So grunge happened, and then the metal thing kind of happened later. And there were fits of hip hop and 80s pop in there too, I guess, but very much a rock trajectory for me, I think. And then my taste in music just got stranger and stranger as I got older. So I'm still a metalhead. I still listen to I still put the hairband music on because why not? But
Spinal Tap.
Oh,
never
totally,
gets old.
absolutely.
As someone who grew up on Weird Al, Spinal Tap was a natural transition for me.
Yeah, totally. Listen to tons of Weird Al. Had all the VHSs. Had the Jurassic Park VHS. And
did you see he released this accordion with all of his records in vinyl?
Oh, I
you
did.
opened the accordion and it was like $300 if I had the money.
I got the email and was like, "That's cool. Can't buy it, but someone's gonna enjoy it."
It looks amazing.
I caught him. I saw him live one time, and I think it was maybe 2006. Maybe he came through. I used to live in Charlotte. He came through Charlotte, and I got to catch a show. And
I actually got to see him this year.
Well, he's getting ready to come by me. Actually, he's coming next Friday, but I'm not going to be in town, and that sucks. So I'm overdue. I need to. I don't know how long he's going to keep going, but I need to get my fix again. But
good to hear. I'm glad to hear.
Right, Cody, you get another question?
That you like Weird Al.
He's amazing. It's incredible.
Don't listen to Cody. Cody, your question?
I'm not gonna hold it against you. You like Weird Al. Me and Jeff got into that argument.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with Weird Al.
To
Shut
each their
up.
own.
I'm just not a fan.
Cody, you need to be careful. This will be the last episode you're on.
You know what? You're right. I quit right after I asked this question. So you said that you're like big into metal. I've grown up around metal. I got into it in middle school. So, I got into some of the more of the metalcore stuff like As I Lay Dying, Zao, and Underoath.
Mm-hmm.
Yellow card.
Like, what's your favorite types of like newer metal? Because I know you said you like the hair bands.
Yeah.
Do you like any of the newer stuff, like the alt metal, death metal? Do you like what do you like about?
Man,
as far as all like,
it's so funny. I think like I don't know about you, but I feel like there's a lot of really loud music out there, so it takes something kind of different to get my attention. I think that there's still albums from 10 years ago that I like to revisit. I still put on Opeth because I just love Opeth. More recently, I've been into there are some guys that are doing some pretty. There's sort of a new. I call it elevator gent, is what I call it, but it's like this thing where it's like these guys doing. It almost sounds like contemporary. It's like contemporary jazz metal. Have you ever heard a guy named Pliny? Have you heard of Pliny? Plini?
No.
He's like most of this stuff's most of this stuff is like I'm sure you've heard of Periphery, right?
Yeah. I've heard of them. I haven't listened to a ton of their stuff. I've heard.
So
of them.
there's sort of this technical groovy metal, and that sort of spawned there's a new generation of kids playing this stuff that's really heavy. It's also super, super, super musical. And it's really neat. A lot of it's instrumental. I found myself being into more instrumental stuff in the last 3-4 years. But there's some good stuff there. And then there is I'm trying to think of some recent stuff. There's a band called. I really like this band. He Is Legend. They just put a new record out that's pretty.
My
amazing.
man.
Oh,
I love you now.
Did I win you back from Weird Al? I have to find one
Yeah,
cool.
yes,
I have
you
to
did.
find one thing that each of you like, so I can be friends with all of you, and then I can leave happy.
Yeah, I love He Is Legend, from The Seduction to I don't know. I don't think I've heard Heavy Fruit yet, but I loved all of their stuff.
Yeah, it's good. They're from. I'm from North Carolina, and they're from near me. They're from in Raleigh. Yeah, their new record is really good. There's a band called Ages, Aeges. They're kind of in the same realm as He Is Legend, who I like a lot. And there's a band called Torch that I like, Torche.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty awesome. And there's a band called Helms Ali, HELMSALEE. It's 2 girls and a guy. It's a little spacey, but it's super heavy and kind of proggy and stuff. It's real good. I'm just rattling off bands now. I don't know, but it's like the more modern, like the more modern weird stuff. I was into thrash for a while and stuff. It's just I find that I tend to gravitate towards stuff that doesn't sound like anything I've heard before. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if there's any new stuff you know of, I'd love to. I mean, feel like I'm always kind of starving for something new.
Yeah, though.
Have you? I'll make my personal. Yeah, I'll make a personal recommendation of something that I listen to that's different. It's not metal. It is rock. Have you ever heard of Everything?
No, not.
The band. Their stuff is so different from, and that's what I kind of ended up on. I'm like, it's so different, and it took me a little while to get into it. But then when I did, they sort of became my favorite thing ever.
Cool. You're everything. I'm writing it down. I'm writing down everything.
Everything. It's everything.
Got it.
Everything. Yep.
Got it.
And the album Get to Heaven is my favorite.
Cool. Sweet.
All right, Ellie.
Yeah, let me look at my list. Let's see. What's something you guys, I guess you didn't realize about like working in this kind of field that you thought was just kind of crazy or out there or unique?
I don't know if this is something I didn't expect, but it's something that it's very much reality. When you're making music for yourself, you don't answer to anyone, right? You just do what you want. Unless you're trying to make something that unless you're attempting to try and make something for someone else's enjoyment. Like I've just always kind of done whatever I wanted to do, and hope that someone connects with it, you know? But when you're making music for a project, you're making music for someone else, for something. It needs to fit, right? You can't just, unless they're giving you complete creative control, which you always have a bit of control, but it has to fit. It has to mesh with what's going on, and that can be hard. It just depends on what you have. Either technically, like something has to loop right, or 2 parts need to connect. So mechanically there are challenges, but sometimes it's just it needs to fit the vision. You know, you don't know where, if it needs to have more levity or does it need to be darker, and that can be difficult. So that's been just been kind of a neat. Sometimes I've made some music and passed it on, and expected to get pushback, and it's a win. Sometimes I've written what I thought's a win, and it's all pushback, and I need to start over. You know, so you never really know. So it's kind of an interesting experience having to deal with that.
Sure.
Can you guys hear sirens? There are sirens right now. Yeah, I think they're coming to take us all away. Run, hide.
Gotta get to Area 51, man.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
They can't stop us all.
No.
Gotta see them
Split up.
aliens.
Split up.
That's such a terrible idea. If you're listening to this podcast, don't do that. Don't. They can't stop you all. Don't do it.
Oh gosh. What would you say is your all-time favorite video game?
That's Scott. That's the question, isn't it? It's the question. It's the question. I don't know. Like for a while, I said Metroid Prime was my favorite game ever, but it's because it made me feel kind of like a game made me feel when I was a kid. When I was done with it, you know, I can always go back to Mario World, and it's like a safe answer. But I don't really know. I feel like it just depends on. There's so many different types, and we've been a lot of ages, You know, like what? I don't know. But favorite game ever? I'll say probably Metroid Prime or like Tetris. Maybe.
Tetris is.
It's going to change tomorrow, obviously, because that's how it works with this, right?
Yep.
So.
Yeah, no
absolutely.
doubt.
Yeah, Tetris is
Timeless.
always a good fallback.
I would describe Tetris as the perfect game. Like, the way it was designed and released, they just keep releasing the same game, and they try to make changes, but those changes only make the game worse.
No, Tetris 99 is a perfect game, man.
Well, no, but
Yeah.
the base rules around are the same. But when they start adding, like, power blocks and all that,
Oh man,
to me, like, Tetris is the
Tetris
perfect
99
game.
is pretty much pretty vanilla. It's just
yeah, it's got T-spins.
It
T-spins
it
isn't
does
that
have
vanilla.
You're right. It does. It's kind of the modern vanilla. You're right. It's got T-spins. It's got infinite spin.
Yeah.
You're right. It is that. It's sort of that. I think it hits a pretty decent middle ground between
I
OG
love
Tetris
Tetris 99.
and you know it shows the ghost of your drop and stuff. I mean, there is kind of depends on what you're into.
No. Yeah, I think, like, those things, those little quality of life things are good. I was kind of talking more like...
Oh yeah.
Like, they have the modes now that have Cascade and all these other different ways to change the rules of Tetris. But anyway, we're getting off course.
There's a really cool documentary you guys should find called it's called From Russia with Love, and it's
it's good.
You seen it? Cool. It's not very long. It's I think it's on YouTube, but
I might even. Yeah, I was gonna say I think it's on YouTube.
Yeah.
Or Hulu, one of those two.
I believe I've watched that.
It talks about Tetris coming to the States around the time of the fall of the Soviet Union. If you look at it in a certain light, it's sort of like Tetris helped bring the Soviet Union to its end, which is
Brought
hilarious
down
to
the
me.
wall.
Yeah, really kind of crazy. But yeah, it talks about the reason Tetris is so addictive and how the whole idea of Tetris is you're constantly trying to fix your mistakes while also building something at the same time. And apparently, psychologically, that's just crack. Like that's like what your brain wants. And I just think that's amazing. I just can't. I don't know. I can't play it every day forever. But whenever there's a new one that comes out, I find myself getting sucked back in still, which is crazy. So.
Mm-hmm.
I listened to another podcast called The Art of Manliness, and the one episode I just recently listened to was about stress, and the doctor on the episode said that Tetris is actually a de-stressor.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's like constant little moments of satisfaction, you know. I bet that really does. I mean, it chills me out unless you're on like level 18 or something, but
Yeah.
I can always play it.
No, but yeah, the main thing was it takes you out of your element. So any like stresses that you've had through the day, it actually helps you to not focus on those stressors, and it takes away the stress because of that.
Interesting.
Because you get like so focused on it instead of focusing on what was stressing you out. It was a really
That's
cool episode.
Oh, yeah.
Does anybody else have any other questions?
I got like a music nerd one. As a guitarist,
All right.
what is your Mount Rushmore, your 4 guitarists?
Oh, like favorite guitar players?
Yeah, just like that. The best or favorites, or you get 4 guitarists.
I get 4 guitarists.
Name the band they're in for us dum-dums as well.
I'm going to say guitarists. Guthrie Govan. Do you know who Guthrie Govan is?
I don't.
Guthrie.
What band? Or?
He was solo for a long time, and now he's in this band called the Aristocrats. And he got popular making this YouTube video where he plays in the style of 10 different guitar players. And it's kind
I've
of
seen that.
terrifying, actually. But he's just a monster. He's a great songwriter, and he never messes up. And he's just a sweet British dude. But Guthrie Govan is up there. Eddie Van Halen is there. That's 50.
Who is he?
He's in this band called Poison. Poison.
No,
He was in the. I think he was. Wait, was he in the? He was in the Beatles, right? No, I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's
Yes.
the 5th
Yeah,
one.
close
Yeah.
enough.
The 5th.
Right?
No,
the
no,
monkeys.
the
He
monkeys.
was the 6th monkey. That's it.
yes, they were a huge influence on the
yes.
Beatles.
Of course. So that's 50% already, right? I gotta pick 2 more.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're like, damn, 2 more?
2 more.
See, to me, I can only name like 2. I'll be like, Slash and the drummer with one arm. Those are my favorite
He doesn't even
guitarists.
play guitar.
That was the joke, Cody.
him up there
Thank you.
anyway.
Thank you.
He can play
No, that
drums with one arm and plays guitar. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And I would
Jeff doesn't care.
Alan Epley from Shiner. He's number 3, and then number 4 is Steve Vai. So there you go.
Cool. I'm writing all these bands down.
Shiner writes really weird crap, but it really influenced the way I write songs. Like some of my solo guitar-y stuff is really influenced by Alan Epley's guitar playing. So less by the book, less like music theory guitar playing, more like throw your hands down until you find something that sounds good, and then go from there. That kind of thing. More by ear. I don't know if that makes sense, but good questions. Jeez, my brain is aflame. It's like I'm gonna have to play play Tetris after this. And chill out. No.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else?
I think I'm good.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, man. It's been fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me
Yeah,
on.
thank you.
Congrats on episode 23.
Yeah.
Time flies.
The
he's
big
right.
one. The big one.
Yeah. We actually hit 10,000 listens across
wow.
all our episode yesterday.
Dude, it's a lot of...
Yeah, we're already at 10.1.
Wow, that's a lot of listens. Well, congrats.
Yeah, we're getting up there. It's quite awesome. I actually didn't expect it to explode this quickly, but I'm glad it has.
Awesome. Dig it. So you didn't have a game for the week, is that right? Was there no game this week?
No game,
gotcha.
just talking to you.
No, well, I've got a game picked out for next
Well,
week. But
calling into game
we
is a pretty
didn't
strong
really-
word, but that's just my opinion about that.
Yeah,
There's a
you know,
preview.
I mean-
whatever. But it is what it is. I gotta go by the list.
I mean, I'm very excited.
Yes.
They're very open.
What did we
All right.
decide on? What are we playing next week?
Next week we are going to play Super Mario Run
Oh,
for the mobile.
yay.
You guys have fun with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
sadly, Cody is going to be leaving us.
Yeah, and I do appreciate you guys having me on. It has been fun. But yeah, I've just got a lot going on right now, and I need to focus on me for a little bit. But hopefully, I haven't put a bad taste in Scott's mouth, so maybe he'll have me back on every once in a while when I can get a chance.
Phrasing.
Wording.
Phrasing.
You're always welcome.
Yep.
Yay, I did it. I got to do it too. Good. Sweet.
All right, we want to thank everybody for joining us. If you're listening on iTunes, we ask that you leave us a 5-star review. You can catch us on Spotify or wherever you get your podcast. You can follow us on Twitter at Budget Arcade. From there, you can join our Discord. You can also join our Discord through our show notes. You can send any hate mail to budget.arcade@gmail.com. Music is by Stemage, and you can catch his
Hey.
music at metroidmetal.com.
It's what Stemage, do you have any other socials, or where do you want people to look for you?
Yeah, the Metroid stuff's at Metroid Metal. My own stuff, I have a website, stemagemusic.com, and then I'm at Stemage kind of everywhere else. I had a Metroid Metal Twitter, but it got hacked. Long story. And Twitter doesn't like to actually help people out, so it's gone. So it's at Stemage
yes.
for everything else. So.
Well, I know a Twitter account that you can have. It's called Butt Biscuits. It's currently not in
Oh, really?
use.
But it sounds
Yeah,
intriguing. No one's using it?
Yes, I will. I'll give it to you for 50
Butt
cents.
Biscuits.
50 cents. So if I...
50 cents. 50 cents and it's yours.
Oh, wow. If I PayPal you, it'll take it'll be like a 40-cent fee, and then won't be much left. But that's
All
okay.
I'll take it.
All right. We'll see everybody next week in Game On.
Bye, everyone.